5 tips for new vegans. What I'm going to share with you in this video are 5 things that I wish I knew when I first went vegan. Now, if you just chose to be vegan and you're new to this, you probably noticed that you're doing something that's against the grain of society and you might be facing some adversity. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to share with you some mindsets, some practical things that you can implement right now in order to make your journey easier. Tip number 1 is education. Learn, 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 learn. Specifically, I invite you to learn about the ethical side of veganism and really face the reality of animal agriculture and all the industries that exploits animals. The reason why is because from my experience, what I found is that although people go vegan for many different reasons, at the end of the day, the thing that really makes them stick to being vegan in the long term is understanding the ethics side, or being vegan for the animals. So a great place to start is the free film Dominion that you can watch on dominionmovement.com. You can also watch an earlier version of that film called Earthlings, or you can just search on YouTube slaughterhouse videos, factory farm videos. And I understand that this kind of footage might be really difficult to watch and really shocking, but at the same time, it's reality. And what I believe and what I've seen is that when you really face that reality, your why you're vegan gets really, really clear. And everything that I'm going to talk about in this video are things that you can figure out yourself, but this first step, the figuring out your why, getting crystal clear on your why, I think is a crucial first step, because when your why is clear, the how kind of just appears and it becomes really easy to figure that out. Which brings us right into tip number 2, which is realize that you are on the right side of history. Now, like I said, when you go vegan, you're inherently going against the grain of society, and so you might feel like by telling people that you're vegan or by asserting the fact that you're vegan, people might think you are crazy. But that doesn't mean that you're crazy, that just means that the world hasn't caught up to what you realized yet. And I remember that when I first went vegan, there would be situations where I'd be apologetic or I'd be shy about the fact that I was vegan. For example, I was hanging out with friends in the first or second week that I was vegan, and we were gonna eat something, and we were deciding where to go, and I didn't tell them I was vegan yet, and so I was like, what should I do? Should I tell them? Like, I'm really scared of what they're gonna think about me. Maybe they're gonna think I'm crazy, they're gonna think I'm weird. And finally I said, you know what, I'm actually doing this thing where I'm vegan now. And I said it in a very apologetic, shy way. I was very soft-spoken, and my friends were really cool about it. All my friends were really supportive, so that was great. But one of my friends, she told me, yo, Ryuji, you know, if you're vegan, you should just tell us that you're vegan. You shouldn't make a big deal out of it, because it's not. And I was like, you know what, you're right. And ever since then, I was just like, you know, when I have to tell people, I'm like, yeah, I'm vegan. And I'm not apologetic about it, because I know that what I'm doing is the right thing. Similarly, in restaurants, at first, I wouldn't follow the thing that I follow now, which is trust but verify. Whenever I go somewhere and I eat something or I buy something, I trust that it's vegan if I think it's gonna be vegan, but at the same time, I always verify. That means at a restaurant, I might ask twice, 3 times. I might ask, hey, are there eggs in this? Is there dairy in this? And not just ask, is this vegan? And I remember, again, when I first went vegan, I accidentally ordered something at a restaurant. It was a vegetable soup, and I was like, oh, it's a vegetable soup, so it's probably vegan, but it actually had meat in it. So never be scared, because the reason I didn't ask back then was because I was scared that the waiter or the people that I was with would think that I'm weird for asking and really making sure. But what ended up happening is that I supported something I do not support, and I paid for innocent animals to suffer and die, which is exactly what we're trying to fight by being vegan. So realize that you are on the right side of history, and every time you make the choice to buy something that's vegan or not buy something that's not vegan, you are preventing innocent animals from suffering and dying. So never let anyone tell you or make you feel like what you're doing is not the right thing to do. Alright, so this next one is a very simple one, really something that I wish I knew, which is how to properly read labels. Now, you'll realize that when you go vegan, there's so many things that suddenly you're not going to want to purchase because they involve the suffering and death of innocent animals. And so, for example, when you go to the store, you're going to want to start reading labels on everything that you buy. Now, when I first went vegan, I spent hours reading labels because there'll be the fine print, like the font is super small, and there'll be all these complicated words that I didn't know about. But really, the 2 tips that I have is, first of all, skip to the bottom of the ingredients list where there's the allergen information. Now, I actually didn't know this. Maybe most people know this, but I didn't know this. that you can look at the bottom and it'll say if it contains milk or eggs. Now, what we're going to want to do is first look at that, and if it doesn't contain any milk or eggs, then you're going to quickly want to skim the rest of the ingredients to see if there's honey or see if there's gelatin. Those are the two main ingredients that might come from animals that would not be in the allergen information. But basically, going there first really helps you, kind of cut through the clutter, because sometimes there might be, for example, animal products that come from milk, but you might not directly be able to see it because it doesn't say milk. It might say casein, or it might say something else that you don't even know what that is. And so by going there first, you're quickly able to cut out all the products that have milk or eggs. And speaking about shopping, tip number 4 is step up your cooking game. One thing that really supported me when I first went vegan was the fact that I knew how to cook and I was willing to learn how to cook. Now, depending on where you are, you might not have a lot of vegan options if you choose to dine out all the time, or perhaps you just can't afford it. What cooking does is that, first of all, you have control over exactly what you eat. You'll be able to eat really healthy foods, but at the same time, it's gonna open up so many options for you, because wherever you are, chances are you have access to fresh produce, things like pasta, things like potatoes, things like rice and beans. All these cheap foods that if you combine them in the right way, you can make incredible food. At the same time, if you search on Google, you'll find that almost anything that you used to love to eat, you can eat the same thing vegan. If you just Google like vegan lasagna recipe, you can find recipes for vegan lasagna. You can even find ways to make vegan cheese yourself. So if you learn how to make food on your own, you'll see that you can eat whatever you want, whenever you want. And it's also great to show your friends and family that, hey, you're not just eating grass or whatever they think that you're eating. So learn how to cook, because I really believe that not only will this help you in your vegan journey, I think it's a really cool skill to have in your life. And finally, the last tip is become a vegan activist. Now, this is really something I really wish I'd done way sooner. If you just chose to be vegan, probably one of the things that you're thinking is, wow, I wish I had done this earlier. I wish I had opened my eyes to the reality sooner and I had made this choice sooner. What I learned about all vegan activists is that really, I don't know all, but the majority of us wish we had become active sooner. And the few reasons why are this. First of all, if you are vegan, that means that you care about the world, you care about the animals, the environments, and or your health. And that being the case, one thing that you might want to do is not just do something that passively helps, passively does not contribute to these industries that are harming the environment, harming animals, but you might want to play an active role in making that end, because that's probably the reason that you went vegan in the first place. And for me, I know that that's definitely how I felt, but for me, I didn't know how to get active. I didn't know that I could make a difference, so I didn't do anything for 2.5 years. The other reason that I really recommend becoming active is because you get to meet a community of incredible people. The people that I've met through activism are some of the coolest, kindest, most compassionate people I have ever met in my entire life. And I've been a part of quite a few communities myself, but this community, the vegan activist community, is truly an amazing community. And especially if you do not have friends around you who are vegan, and if you are surrounded by a lot of people who are not vegan, joining the vegan activist community is completely gonna flip that around. Before I joined the vegan activist community, I knew about 2 to 4 vegan people in real life, and some of them were my close friends who were not near me. Some of them were people that I kind of knew but I wasn't really close friends with. As soon as I joined the vegan activist community, within weeks, I literally met hundreds of vegan activists, and that's not even an exaggeration. Now, I was lucky that I went to a vegan convention not long after I started, but even so, I would have met dozens and dozens and dozens of activists and vegan people really quickly, and that normalized the idea of being vegan. All of a sudden, all my insecurities, all the things that I was scared of kind of dissolved. All the problems that I had, I was able to talk with people who had the same problems, and we were able to support each other, and we were supposed to relate on this deep level of being vegan. So become active. If you want to know how to do that, I made a video about that, so check that out. It's called How to Become a Vegan Activist. And yeah, so these are 5 tips, 5 things I wish I knew when I first went vegan. Now, I hope that you found something that's going to support you in your journey. If you've been vegan for a while, let me know in the comments if there's anything else that has supported you throughout your journey. And if you're new to this, also let me know if there's any way that I can support you, and I'll definitely make a video about that. In any case, have an incredible rest of your day wherever you are. Until next time, take care and peace.